first, I'm going to put a plug in for, of course, District 8. Mike Kaiser has been amazing for all of us in central Pennsylvania. The great thing about Mike and his team here in District 8 is they will meet with constituents. You just pick a date and they meet. And that is a great tool for PennDOT. It has been very positive in our region from the fact that PennDOT's always open to listening to whether it's a business that's the problem on a road there or whatever it may be. PennDOT's in District 8 has been very accommodating in working with them, not always necessarily giving them what they want, but sitting down and explaining to them what's going on. And that makes a big difference. So I give Mike Kaiser and his team great kudos.
Happy to pass that on to Mike.
The other thing I wanted to mention to you is my real concern, I'd say the York County delegation has concerning the I-83 Mount Rose project, which you're fully aware of. And as we move forward, if our delegation can be helpful to you and your team at any time, we are willing to do so. It's a great controversy in our county. And I know
well aware. It came up in the Senate hearing as well yesterday.
I'm sure it did.
And we will be working, and we don't want to see a previous experience repeated as well.
Yeah. I mean, that company has sued I don't know how many states for over $1 billion in other states. And it concerns me that the taxpayers of Pennsylvania may be attempted to be taken for a ride by that company, and very much concerns to me. Scary. Until I seen that article, I just thought it was a one-time thing with that company, but now it seems to be a
concerns us
rampant.
As well.
And so I have been meeting with the congressional delegation, our central part of the state, to talk about what federal changes we can make to protect Pennsylvania Transportation Department from future things like that. The other thing is I would appreciate you lobbying for a larger parking lot in Lancaster train station. I told my counterpart here, there are a lot of people in central Pennsylvania that use the train station in Lancaster City to get, there's other lots as well, I mean, throughout the Lancaster County, Mountjoy, and so forth. But that lot is constantly packed, and people have to search for other parking spaces in Lancaster City to park, to use for their trips to Philadelphia and other points. But if I can put a plug in for that, I thought I would.
Parking expansion at popular Amtrak stations and local regional rail is a big issue, and we are aware of the Lancaster issues as well in Lancaster.
Very good. The last thing is being a big part of supporting every transportation bill basically that has ever passed the House since I've been here. We have dealt with the fueling issues with propane and natural gas, and we haven't with electric cars. And I'm really concerned if we don't do something soon to make sure those vehicles have as much impact as any other car on the highway, that it'll get to the point where it'll be tough to pass any kind of a fee onto those. If we do it with natural gas vehicles and all the other vehicles, I think it's important that we, as quickly as possible, come up with a remedy that is fair to those vehicles as well. But we did find a way to do it with propane and natural gas. I think it's now critical for us to do it within the next year or 2 years, because after that, as we continue to start using more and more electric cars, you know the political pressures. And with funding for PennDOT going down due to more fuel-efficient cars and other issues, I just think it's something we have to do. We cannot afford to miss out on any dollar that can help us fix our infrastructure in Pennsylvania. I know you know that, but I would encourage PennDOT to come back to the legislature with some kind of a fix for the electric car issue that maybe either other states are using or that we devise as a fair system.
Yeah, and we will be talking to Chairman Hennessy and Chairman Carroll about that. We do have to, and we should take care of it now before it becomes too large of a percentage of our vehicle mix.
Right.
If I may just make 2 points
Sure.
that I didn't get a chance to make earlier. When I participated in a pilot program for the mileage-based user fee, I had that was run by the I-95 Corridor Coalition. I had a device in my car, and every month I would get a bill. What it would cost me under a mileage-based user fee system and what it's costing me under our present system with the gas tax that we have currently in Pennsylvania. And I was shocked at how little I pay in a gas tax. And I figured if I was shocked, I think other people would be shocked as well. And so I just wanted to say, for the average driver who drives 12,000 miles a year in a car that has 25 miles to the gallon, which is fairly typical, you use 480 gallons a year. And in a gas tax, you are paying under $300. In fact, $276 a year. to drive on our roads and our bridges and use all of our modes of travel. And I don't think people understand how little. When you think, I mean, and many people's cable bills and cell phones and internet service, they're paying that a month. And I know we talk about it, and I also want to remind people when Act 89 was passed in 2013, the average price of gas in Pennsylvania was $3.50. This past weekend, I filled up my tank at $2.45, $1 less. And while, yes, we have a gas tax of 58.2 cents, it's not passed on to the driver. It's not a direct pass-through. And so I just want to bring that to everyone's attention. I heard what was said today, and no, we're not asking, I get it. And that was a tough vote. For me, I'm biased. I think it was one of the most brilliant votes that this legislature has ever made. When you think of it, you made a vote to fund infrastructure, and the price of gas went down, right? And the average person is paying, just a little over $275 a year to use one of the largest systems in the country. So I just wanted to get those facts out there. I don't think we always think about it that way. I know I hadn't thought about it that way. So I just wanted to share that as we continue this conversation.
Well, and I think that the department probably has to do a better job of PR because while we have the highest gas tax, I think right now we do anyhow. Who knows what the next state will be doing? But again, what people miss in our transportation system in Pennsylvania, you just mentioned, it's probably the second largest transportation system in the country. Mm-hmm. And the other thing that we a lot of times miss, it's funny, is in other states. I won't mention any because some of them may have changed by the time what I know. But I remember one state a number of years ago, if you owned a Cadillac, you paid $1,000. If you owned a Nissan Pulsar, you paid like $300 or $400. So it was by the weight of your car you paid. So I don't think taxpayers would care to be getting a bill on a yearly basis of those kinds. So I think that it's a matter of choice. We had legislators here during that most recent Act 89 say, well, why don't we do a registration fee instead of a gas tax? And the problem is when you're taking somebody's registration fee from $36 to $100, I don't think politically that's exactly the way voters would care to go. I think they like to pay it gradually. And it is a very sensitive issue. I get complaints about my district.
I understand that
I get yelled at for voting for the tax. But I'm like you. I believe our highway system is so critical to economic development in our state. And so again, I thank you for PennDOT. PennDOT has made tremendous improvements over the years. You're not perfect, I think. Representative Carroll mentioned that.
I will bring that home. My family will enjoy that I was called not perfect today.
I don't hear the jokes about us leaning on shovels anymore. So that's a good sign in your county.